I did.
Alright, boys and girls, well today we have a Cadillac. More specifically, a 2011 Cadillac CTS-V, and let me start off by saying that I don't like the idea of this car very much. So let's hop in and I will explain. What the heck is up, guys? Welcome back. I haven't done a car review and I don't even freaking know how long, so I figured I'd give you guys a very fun one today to as my my welcome back. But first things first, before we get into this review, let's talk. I don't like the idea of this car. It seems like in the mid-2000s, GM had this fun idea to take all their cars and throw big engines in them. Trailblazer SS, the new GTO, the GTO, CTS-V, Pontiac GXP, the Chevy SS. And I don't like when car manufacturers do that. I know Chevy's not the only one, they just kind of had this big grouping all at one time. And listen, I love big engines as much as the next guy, but I hate when a car is built and not supported. So I hate we'll call it the G8, whatever it is. You take a big 6 point whatever liter, then there's a 6.2 in this. You take a big engine, throw it in a car. You don't upgrade the brakes, you don't upgrade the suspension, you don't upgrade, the drivetrain. You don't upgrade anything to go along with all that newfound power. You take a grandma car, you take a CTS, and you give it a ton of power, but you don't do anything to back that up. And on paper, this car is a lot different, but in my mind, it's kind of got that same premise of all of those cars that I really don't like because they weren't built correctly. So this review will kind of be fun for a couple reasons. One, I'll get to tell you guys about a very, very fast CTS-V, and secondly, I will drive this car for a while and let you guys know if this car kind of makes sense to me, because I'm not 100% sold on it yet. So let's get into it. One more thing before we get into the review. I am filming car reviews again, so if you do have a car and you're around Houston that you want me to drive, I'll put my Instagram on the screen. Let's meet up. I would love to do a video of whatever you have. So as long as I haven't done a video with it before, I'm 100% game. I love new cars, I love new builds. It would be fun to meet a lot of people. So let's do it. Alright, so in 2009, Cadillac redid the CTS-V. Gone was the mandatory 6-speed manual. You can now get it in an automatic, which this car is. And gone is the LS6, which was naturally aspirated. Now we have an LSA engine, which has a big supercharger on it, and makes this car much faster. So it's an automatic, so I think you just gotta that'll wake you up. Goodness. Parking assist off. Holy crap. Okay, fellas. So, what we're dealing with here is a 6.2 liter supercharged V8 that sounds so good. So, from the factory, the CTS-V makes around 550 horsepower to the crank. This car, upgrade injectors, full exhaust, headers, Corsa catback. I think I said bigger injectors already on it. Running E85, and I think when Zach had this dynoed, it was somewhere around 602, 603 to the wheels, and that's a lot. That's good. That's a good amount of power right there. So +1 for Cadillac. So back to trying to be a sane human being for a second. Starting off with the inside of this car, it's very Cadillac. It's very nice, very comfortable. I'm a bigger guy, and these Recaros, this car has the Recaro option, and these Recaros actually fit me pretty well. I know the Recaros are one of Zach's complaints. He's not the biggest fan of them. but for me, they actually fit me pretty decently. The side bolsters are really nice. The thigh bolsters are pretty darn good. They don't stick up too high. They don't dig into your leg. The seats themselves are actually really, really nice. Moving forward to the gauge cluster and everything in front of you, everything's very simple, very elegant, very pretty, but very simple, very easy to find. The gauges are just a nice, normal, honestly, just a GM gauge. Steering wheel is nicely Alcantara wrapped. I like that. Steering wheel has your cruise control buttons, your audio buttons, but the good part about the steering wheel is your traction control button is right on the steering wheel. Somebody at GM assumed that that button would be frequently used, so they put it right on the steering wheel for you. So whenever you want to get a little squirrely with it, it's just one left thumb away and you're good to go. So moving down to the center of it, something a little bit funky is the screen goes up, and I don't know who got hired on at GM in 2009 or so, but ever since then, all these screens seem to go up and down on all these GM cars. I like it, I'm not complaining, but it's kind of a cool little touch, you know, that stays down. You kind of get a basic readout of your audio playlist, whatever you're playing, and then if you want the full screen, you can just press the button, it'll pop up, you have kind of full access to everything, and then also when you put it in reverse, the screen rises for the reverse camera, so that part's cool. So that's kind of the general theme of the interior of this car. You know, it doesn't feel very sporty. I mean, apart from a couple, you got a badge on the steering wheel, badge on the shifter. Apart from that, you know, Cadillac didn't really want you to know that this was a V. You know, unless you are getting on it and you're, you know, pushing this car the way it's meant to be pushed. They did a very good job of just making sure that you're driving a Cadillac. It's very nice, it's very quiet, heated and cooled seats are nice, you can adjust the seats 7 ways to Sunday. I mean, there's just a lot of options in here to make you super comfortable every single day. I mean, I assume that's what this car is. You want a very fast car that you can drive every single day, and Cadillac has made the comfort side of that. They really, really did knock it out of the park. The only couple quirks, and I'll mention one because it's Zach's biggest complaint about this car, is, I mean, this car, when it came out, I mean, this car is 70 grand, somewhere in the ballpark, and it's got backup camera, it's got all the bells and whistles, but it doesn't have Bluetooth. And in today's world, that's annoying. I get this car's from 2011, that was 9 years ago, but before I had my Z, I had a 2011 V6 Mustang, and that had Bluetooth. No excuse, this car should have Bluetooth. And the other thing that I'm not a huge fan of is the key. So you have a key fob, like normal, but then behind the steering wheel, you have this weird, like, half kind of key thing. Honestly, it feels a little lazy to me. I feel like they could have designed a starter button for it and done that. Maybe they did in the later cars, but at least in the car that I'm driving, that's not an option. And so like I said, it feels a little lazy to me. I like that it's still keyless. You still have push button start. Just something that I'm just not the biggest fan of. And the other thing that I'm not a big fan of is, and this is my gripe on all cars that have this, I don't like electronic parking brakes. This is an automatic, not a huge deal, but on manual cars, I don't like having an electronic parking brake just because I don't trust myself to push the button. But like I said, automatic car, not super worried about it. Okay, so while we're sitting at a stoplight, let me read you the full mod list real quick. That way, in case you guys have any questions, you want to do this to your car. So, aerated intake, FIC 1000 injectors, dual AEM drop-in fuel pumps, flex fuel kit, Texas speed headers, X-pipe, and Corsa axle back. My favorite part of that list being the Corsa axle back. Man, so he used to have, I forget, a different brand exhaust before, and you heard it everywhere. It was in the cabin, you felt it in your bones, rattled the whole thing. Corsa does a fantastic job of putting the sound behind you, which makes this car even better as a daily driver. Corsa's very, very loud. When you get on it, you will wake the world up. But you will only wake the world up behind you because everything inside the cabin is actually not bad. I mean, obviously, when you get on it, it gets loud. You understand it's there, but very nice for daily driving. Corsa axle backs on this car do perfect. Corsa on every car, honestly, is perfect. Let's go fast again. This car's really fast. Those shifts are brutal too. Just an automatic, but in a big car like this, you don't want, I mean, I've driven a V1 manual before, I liked it, but man, after driving this, I mean, you kind of, especially when you get into big power like this, there's only so much power you want to drive a manual car with, and 500 horsepower is probably about it. Any more, just let the car do its thing, because it does it really good. Let's try some downshifts here. It's not bad. I would maybe let the transmission do it by itself, though. Woo! Bridge test. Hold on. Ready? And. I got a honk and a thumbs up. Oh, this car is awesome. I still maintain that, hang on, I still maintain this car's really fast. I still maintain that I don't like cars that are done like this, that are just made with a big engine in it. But when you take this car into consideration as a whole, big engine, big brakes, good suspension, good seats, really just kind of the whole package, it's the perfect car. And then to find one of these cars for mid to low 20s, I mean, it's perfect. You know, and I am struggling to even find a different word to use, because I just can't find one. There's not a single thing wrong with this car. It's amazing to drive, and it really does just spoil you. And let's face it, you know, listen, everybody, you know, in the world we live in right now is Z package and sport package and track package and blah, 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 blah. That's where we live at, because that's all anybody cares about, is just, you know, how fast does it go around a track. But even me, I'm a big track junkie, and I think I normally get to go do some track stuff 2-3 times a year, because I have a job and I have things going on and I have a wife and I've got things going on in my life that don't let me do that. So then 90% of my fun driving is just punching it on a back road every now and again. And that's why this car is so perfect, is because you can go fast when you want to go fast. Cop passing me right there. Hopefully that's not an issue. You can go fast when you want to go fast, and it's still very sharp and precise when you want to, you know, kind of be on the edge and having fun. But the other 362 days out of the year, when you're just driving it normally, it allows you to do that too. This car wears all of its hats very, very well, and doesn't really combine the two a whole lot. If you want a Cadillac, you got a Cadillac. If you want this super awesome sports sedan, you got that too. And like I said, it's very easy for me to find fault with a car, especially when I'm doing a review by myself, because I can be super honest, and I've driven a lot of really good cars. So when I get in a car and I don't really like it, I don't mind telling you guys. And you know me, I'm a big Ford junkie, and I'm sold. I'm 100% sold on this car. I borderline want one. And I don't say that very often. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna keep rambling if I don't end this video. But thank you guys so much for watching. It's good to be filming freaking car reviews again, man. I will catch you guys in the next one. I've got a pretty cool one planned for next week. And but you guys will have to wait to see it then. So, like I said, if you guys have anything you want me to review, let me know. Add me on Instagram and shoot me a DM. Huge thanks to Zach for letting me steal his Cadillac today, and completely let me fall in love with it. So that's all I got for you guys today. I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.